Awesome. We're live. How's it going, everyone? I am joined with Miguel from Great Lakes Finesse. Pretty much every spring, you guys see us talk. Every spring and summer, we get on a live stream together and talk about new baits and just different things that are happening in, the fishing world, the smallmouth world. So, no, man, I appreciate having you on. I know that you just got back from the Classic, which I'm sure was busy for you, but no, I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on. I always look forward to this. I've been thinking about it all day, working like crazy hours lately. So it's just fun to talk about fishing and yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm pumped about
How
it.
was,
Let's do it.
how was the Classic for you guys?
It was crazy, man. Like Knoxville, if it goes to Knoxville and any of your viewers haven't been there, they should really make an attempt to go. It showed out. I've been to so many classics, and this one I think ranks up there as like potentially number one. Like people were hardcore. It was jammed. I didn't get to watch any of the fishing, which sucks. That's the only crummy part about having a booth there. But man, our we had a great time. I would say crushing it was an understatement. We just released a new spy bait, and yeah, we launched it on the day the classic started, and my booth was surrounded during setup. The video dropped at 9 a.m. on the Friday, and the show started at 11. I was still setting things up for the show, and people were just coming over who were working the show out, like wanting to see this thing. So it was pretty wild.
Did you guys take like a ton of baits down there? How many baits you guys take?
Well, mostly display, but I had a handful to sell. So yeah, like a few hundred to sell, and yeah, they were all gone in the first like 2 hours. Gone. Like, yeah, we 9 o'clock the video dropped on our socials. I was just kind of working. I didn't even realize what was going on. I was just trying to get the booth set up, and yeah, I looked at like at about 10:30. I had to look at LureNet, and they were all gone. Like everything that we had online was sold out. Guys were telling me the ghost perch sold out in like 5 minutes. And yeah, it was pretty wild. So pretty cool. I probably pulled, I mean, we'll get into this bait, but it does have a really cool top hook. And I think I pulled that thing out and reinserted it myself like well over 1,000 times and during 3 days. And it was pretty crazy. People just were like, that's incredible. So it's fun. Good time.
That's so cool, man.
Mm-hmm.
How many new baits did you guys launch?
Really just the one. So we launched the spy bait. The Stay Pinned Spybait. So that's our hero project. Pretty awesome to see that one come to the finish line because that was 3 years in the making. That was something that I didn't even know if we'd ever get to the end because it's just the amount of ups and downs in designing something that's totally unique and different enough that we were actually able to file for the patent on the hook. So yeah, that was the focus for this classic. We also launched a larger drop kick shad. We've got a 3.5-inch version now.
Do you have the other one there?
Yeah, I've got so this is the little guy. This is the original that I really like. And then this is the larger size. So it's bigger. This is actually the size that everyone's been requesting ever since we launched the dropkick shad last year. Same time last year, people were looking for like that, 3.3 inch size, like 3.4, 3.25. So yeah, this is the 3.25 that everybody's been wanting, and it just completely opens up more opportunities with a swim bait. So bigger swim bait, bigger forage, chatterbait, like bladed jig trailer, a rig, just whole host of different options for people.
Well, and there's just that time, like I found it a little bit last year. You can fish that 275 early, and you can fish it like in the fall, and you still catch them like all year. But there's that time where they just want to get on that little bit bigger bait. So that's sweet.
Yeah. No, I think people are really comfortable with a larger size too. So yeah, so that was our size extension, and then we also came out with three new colors across all our minnow baits. So we did a perch. This one was designed by Evan Kung. He's an incredible angler around here, and I gave him full authority to design the perch. Our elite pros were demanding IU. So it's kind of like the green pumpkin shad, but it's more green on the belly. It's not as like pearly. And then we got the Pro Blue Red Pearl, which is just like a staple everywhere. Pacific Northwest, just so much request for this one. So did that one. We also added the iridescent, which I don't know how we missed in the dropkick shad, but it's in our other minnow baits, and people are like, why isn't it in that bait? So yeah, that was a really good one. So we added those colors. Yeah, go ahead.
That iridescent is like very, very, very good when fish just don't want to eat. So like if they just don't want to eat like a normal drop kick or drop minnow, or they don't want to eat, like, that color just does something to them.
Yeah.
We had a day last fall where we were up north, and like just could not get them to commit to something. You'd see them follow all the way back, or they get on the back and they get the back end of a tail or a spy bait, or like, but you just couldn't get them to really commit. And then I switched to an iridescent drop minnow, and yeah, we ended up catching, 5 or 6, but when they weren't biting anything, like, that was really, really good day. So
yeah,
that's sweet.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. So many people love that color. I know we like it. The first time I ever saw it was in Japan when I was there many, many years ago, in this little like worm kind of thing. And I brought him back, and I ran out within like an hour of fishing with that color and that bait. And I'm like, well, I'll keep one. And then we ended up starting this company later on, and I ended up making the color in our baits. So that's kind of how we came to it. Yeah, so we're excited about that. We got some bait bags that we just launched as well to kind of complement our terminal wallet, which has been a smash hit for us. It's the number one selling GLF thing on LureNet right now for us. People just love that thing. Yeah, I don't know if people have. I got one here that I was actually loading up with some more stuff. I'm trying to get ready, but this is the terminal wallet if no one's ever seen it. Basically, it's got 48 slots in these pages, and you can load it up with like GLF and like any terminal you want. Like you can put, like I even put my gammy hooks in there. They fit. Basically, we just looked at like what are we using, and like we'll just make it be able to fit most of our terminal packages. So like jigs or whatever. And we were just tired of having stuff in like trays that are getting beat up and like kind of dull. The points were kind of getting dull just by rattling around. And now I can stay organized. I can like right across, it's like 3 pages of football heads, 3 pages of tube heads, and I can organize them by size. And as I'm getting like low, I'm like, oh, I need more. So it keeps you really, everything's in the original package. It keeps it really organized, and people are loving it. So that's
one of the cool things too, is like you can take your hooks like you showed, and you can just put them in their original packaging, which, like,
yeah,
dude, if you ever take your hooks out and you try to do, I don't know, I tried so many different things. I tried like the Plano edge boxes with the little cups, and then there's no good way other than in the original package.
There isn't. And what's nice about these is you can, like, say you're like, oh shoot, I put that in the wrong spot. It's so easy to just move the bags around or make room. Whereas if you have them all in this tray, you're like, oh shoot, like I don't know what sizes I've got. I'm trying to like make another slot. Like there was never really a good solution. And I feel like we pretty much perfected that, and for us anyway. So we love them. I've got like 8 of them in the boat at any given time. And yeah, people who buy them are just like, these are awesome. I've yet to hear someone say anything bad about them. So yeah. So yeah, we got some new bags. I think we sent you some bags, didn't we?
Not yet. We talked about getting some bags.
Shoot, I would have. I totally forgot. I was going to send you a couple just to see them. But yeah, we got these new bags here. It's kind of like there's other bags on the market that are very similar to this, but the biggest difference is that like we love these styles of bags. We also came out with this bag, which people know it's like
yeah.
So it's affordable. It's like it's $10, $9.99, and it fits a pile of baits. But these are really organized. They cost more, but you can just stay way more organized. They stack really well and stuff. But the problem is once you start like getting in the day of fishing, you just like as you're pulling stuff in and out, they get so unorganized. So what we did was I'll open this up real quick. And they're like super waterproof and puncture resistant. We like went all in on the stitching. Like this is like one of those things where you buy it once. They don't fall apart. You got it for life. That was what we set out to do. But we put these adjustable dividers in there, so you can take those out if you want. You can use one. So what I do, I don't have one here, but like for example, if you're like a bladed jig guy, I've got all my jackhammers on one side, and then I got all my trailers on the other side. So I've got one box, like one of these is dedicated to, chatterbaits. So that's like my chatterbait bag, and I keep them in the original package. I don't have like a tray. Like I know the sizes. I just flip through what I need, and so it fits our packages. It fits pretty much everything, tools, line, and so that's kind of like the medium one. I know we're kind of getting right into the product, but I'm so excited, so I'm just gonna give her. This one is my favorite. So this is the large. We call it the large, and what's really cool about this one here, I got a tray. I'm actually going to Mexico, so I was actually looking for. It's the exact size. Yeah, I'm going to Mexico. I leave Sunday, and we made it the exact footprint of a 3700 tray. So I've got slots in my boat that this is just going to like fit right in there. I've got bags that I use, tackle bags. Like if I'm like co-angling with my tournament partner, meaning like I'm just jumping in his boat. I grab stuff. So now I can just grab these, stick them in the bag. They stack nice. It's the exact same footprint with the same features. So clear on the front. Like these are durable. Like really the stitching, the details. Like I'm really proud of these. I feel like we absolutely nailed it with these things. So
that's sweet. How would you organize one of those bags? And then one of the questions that came in is, are the dividers Velcro, right? They Velcro in different spots throughout the bag.
Yep, they're Velcro. So you can move here. I'll even show you how easy this is. So the walls are lined with Velcro. So it's a brand new one. You just take this off and then you move it. So you can position it wherever you want. They're fairly rigid. Like they're rigid. They're really well built. So you can move them wherever you want. You can use one, you can use two, whatever you want. And I think we solved like a real problem with this style of bait bag that hasn't been solved yet. When we came up with the idea, I actually came up with the idea because my wife was throwing out the diaper bag, like a diaper bag, and had like these Velcro dividers. And I was like, shoot, if we added those to one of those bags, that'd be sweet. So then we went to work on doing that, how I got the idea. Like literally we were throwing out one of the diaper bags because our kids are kind of out of diapers.
So you said you like those ones more than the medium size. So how would you organize, like the medium size sort of makes sense. You can sort of halfway stand up a bag of plastics, right? Or the smaller Great Lakes Finesse bags. But like for those ones, how would you do it? Similar to what you talked about earlier with the chatterbaits?
Yeah, I would just lay the bags down in that case. So just kind of like lay them right in there flat. You can't stand them straight up. So, but it is still really organized. Like I feel like because you got the two dividers, you can have it. I haven't found it to be an issue. Yeah. So
that's so cool.
Yeah, no, I'm really happy with how they turned out. And but then we still got this this affordable, good solution bag that we also carry. So so now we've got, I don't know, our system set up for our terminal, our baits. We're going to be really organized this year, and we were last year. But now I'll have like the final production versions rather than like, I don't know if I got them here. They're somewhere in there, but I got all sorts of sizes and stuff we played with. We tested several different sizes in bags, colors. I'd have to go dig through there. I didn't plan on showing them, but we had like all sorts of shapes and sizes, and those are the two we like the most.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So I'm curious on the Spybait, right? Like we talked about it a little bit. We touched on it. But you sold out. So you sold out incredibly quick. So for the people that don't know, kind of talk us through the Spybait. I'm curious to see what it looks like and see kind of the top hook. I don't know if you have one with you.
I have them here. I figured we'd talk about them. So yeah, and full disclosure, he has seen videos, but
I've seen videos, but I've never seen it in person or
So I'm gonna give you the pitch that I was given all weekend. Not really a pitch, but just kind of showing it. So this is the bait here. So it's a 70 size.
What color is that one?
This one's matte perch. So this is matte perch, and then this is ghost perch. So it's more of a see-through. Cool. Yeah. But this one's kind of easier to see on the screen. So let me talk about this. So we love fishing spy baits. We've been fishing them for a long time, and pretty much since KVD pulled that thing out on the St. Lawrence River, it blew it out of the water. That's really when I always had them, but when he did that, it confirmed that like, okay, I got to actually put in time on this thing. And since then, it has been part of our game year over year over year. I would argue that there's not a lot of baits that get more big bites than a spy bait, but it is always the last resort in a tournament because I do not want to lose a fish on a spy bait. And every time the spy bait gets pulled in a tournament and thrown, a conversation has been had between me and my tournament partner about like, are we sure we want to do this? Are we sure we don't want to like give it more time and try to get it on a single hook bait, a finesse bait, pretty much anything but a spy bait? I would almost consider this as bad as like a frog fishing mats. Like you lose so many fish. It's the worst.
Yeah.
The problem is that they usually only get one hook, and more often than not, they're following it, and then they nip this back treble. Like they nip the back of the bait. They completely miss this hook, and smallmouth right away, they'll jump, and then the bait is just flying back and forth with this tiny little treble hook on the jump, and they throw it so many times. I can't tell you how much money we have lost in tournaments because of a spy bait. And so we started thinking like there's got to be a better way, because jerk baits, like we won't throw a jerk bait unless it has 3 treble hooks. I don't care how good it is. If it has 2, I'm not going to throw it.
Yeah.
So 3 years ago, we set out to fix the problem. I was like, okay, the first solution we thought of like is maybe we can downsize the trebles or put a small one in the middle or something. And we looked at it. Our engineers looked at it. There was just no room with the internals inside. They're really hard to see, but you've got weight. There's really not a whole lot of area here where you can actually put a third treble without them hooking each other and being strong enough and get the action. So I'd say for like 2 or 3 weeks, we tried, looked at the drawings, the CAD, nothing. So I was like, so then both of our engineers at Pradco were like, can't be done. And I'm like, there's got to be another way. Like, we have to figure this out. All of a sudden, it came to me when I went to Japan many years ago. I bought this little bait. It was sold to me at a little taco shop, and it had this top hook with a magnet, one little single hook. And I was like, or actually, no, sorry, it was a double hook. And I remember there was a little groove, and then there was a magnet. I never used the bait. I tried throwing it. Nothing ate it up here, but apparently it's great in Japan. But anyway, I still have it. And I thought, oh, maybe we can do something like that. So we toyed with that, but it just, when you're casting this thing aggressively to get it way out there, it wouldn't hold. So we tried that first. Then we tried a groove where the treble hook would go into the bait with a split ring. We even had a TPE fin that we had designed to glue to the bait, which would hide the split ring. Like, we went through so many variations, ball bearings, everything. Then Tyler, our engineer, he kind of was like, well, what if we hide the hook? And then between the two of us, we came up with this system. And here, I'm going to show it on this one because it's a little bit easier to see. So the hook, there's a little fin. Oh, it's so hard to see there. There you go. You can kind of see it
right there. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a little groove and there's pressure there. And it's just the right amount of pressure that it holds that hook. Like, it's in there. So it doesn't move when you're casting it. When you fish it, you set the hook, you miss, it stays in there. But as soon as you set the hook and there's pressure on that, it pops out. So essentially, you've got 3 treble hooks on this little tiny bait. And I'm telling you, you don't lose fish. I've lost 1 fish since I've thrown this, and I have caught a lot of fish on this thing. So I will, full disclosure, you are guaranteed to land every fish, but you will go from 60, 70% with your typical spy bait to well into the 90% landing percentage. Now, that wasn't the only goal. We weren't going to just come up with a spy bait that could land fish because it needs bites. So we were like, we got to build a spy bait that we think you're going to like get more bites. That was the goal. It was like, we got to make something that's better. So we really like focused on the shape and profile. I feel like most of the spy baits on the market, the profiles look kind of cool and sleek, but they don't truly look minnow. Like, they don't look like a real minnow. We really focused on dialing in like the back of it. It's got these like little contours and stuff to really make it look like a minnow. Then we also added this water through gill. So there's a little hole here, and there's the gills are see-through. I'm gonna try to like show that. So anyway, yeah, you kind of see my
Yeah,
hand.
you can see it there. Yeah.
Yeah, the water goes through the mouth, out the gills, and it actually creates this vibration along the side of the body, and it shimmies. You can see it, and it creates a bit of drag, so you can feel the bait better. I truly believe that extra vibration, because they follow it, just gets them to eat it. It's something they haven't felt before behind a spy bait. So this, not only does this thing get more bites than any other spy bait we've used, we actually land our fish, and I'm really proud about this. Like, we crushed it. I sent some to Jason Christie before St. Clair when they went up there. I sent them 3 black ones to test. I was like, man, you should use this when you go. Anyway, long story short, those guys, unless they have confidence, they're not going to start testing baits during their practice. So he didn't even use it. I asked him after the tournament, like, did you throw? He's like, no, I didn't have time. I was on a tube. I don't know. He said he was on something else. So I'm like, okay, no problem. And I had a tournament in the fall in September, and I had run out of black ones because I only had a handful for filming and stuff. So I have like other tons of spy baits. Like I have a whole tray. Like I have spy baits. I have the competitors. I have black ones. I have spray painted. I needed those black ones back because I truly felt like we could win the tournament on ours over any of the other ones I had. So I had him ship me those from Oklahoma like a week before the tournament. I'm like, I need those spy baits back if you're not going to use them. And he shipped them to me. And then we ended up we didn't win the tournament, but we did catch fish on it. So that's how much I believe in it. Obviously I'm biased, but I think we made the best spy bait on the planet by far.
Like that was one of my big things when you originally told me you made a spy bait. I'm like, oh, that's cool, right? Like, and then one of the biggest issues with a lot of spy baits, quite frankly, that aren't duo realis is like they don't have any sort of like that side to side shimmy action. It's like they look cool, the blades spin, but it's like very straight. Or like when it falls, it doesn't move, so it's just like dead. Like you just don't get as many bites.
Yep.
And so when you send me that video and you can actually see it listing, I'm like, oh God, like this is perfect. And then you have the top hook, which is like super exciting. And so I don't know, man. I'm excited about the top hook.
Yeah,
then,
yeah. No, go ahead. I do want to add to that. So not only does it shimmy on the swim, it shimmies on the fall, and we got the weighting perfectly where it falls perfectly horizontal. So when it's like falling down, it looks really natural. I want to talk about this before I forget, because I will forget. When we're designing it, we had the opportunity to test all kinds of different blades: gold blades, super chrome, silver blades, dull blades, and these kind of like matte blades. We made a whole bunch of prototypes. Like our engineer came up here for 3 days. We went fishing, and we were like, the goal is to only throw this spy bait, all of the different ones. Let's dial this thing in, put it beside the competitors, everything. And we realized that these duller silver blades got way more bites, and the competitors on the market have really shiny blades. And I think that the shiny blades were scaring more fish. Like it's too much. So having these like duller matte finish, like kind of, they almost look tarnished. I don't know if you can see it, but they're brand new, but they're like a different finish that we put on those. And man, like I think that also helps, along with the 3D eyes. Like we didn't spare any expense. BKK super slides, pretty much like how I'd want it right out of the pack. Okay, so cool. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm just too excited.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. All right. How much? So one of the questions was, how much does it weigh? I think it's what, 1/4 of an ounce.
It's a 1/4 ounce, yeah. So it's a size 70, so it's about 3 inches long. The body itself is 2.75 inches, and then with the wire through it and all the hardware, it's just about 3 inches.
Awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, we've kind of like moved. We started with that size because that's the size we're throwing more these days. We used to throw the 90s, then we went to the 80s, and then Duo came with a 70, and we started throwing that. We're just finding that we're getting more bites more consistently with the pressure in here on the smaller one. So we're like, let's just do that one.
Do you have a personal favorite color? Or yes. Colors, like do you have a color system for this?
Yes. So I have 3 colors that I throw consistently. Like pretty much like if I'm in a tournament, these are going to be the one. You want to guess?
I got to ask about, well, yeah, I want to ask / guess on one of them. So there's a ghost, what is it? A ghost shad color? Ghost M Shad or Ghost Shad.
Yep.
So I saw that color in your lineup. It's very similar to some other colors that I've thrown in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So I was curious on like, obviously your favorite colors, and then you have some unique ones with the crackle, I think, right?
Yep. So I'm going to show you. Here, I got a pile of them because they're all on my desk from the Classic. So this is the Ghost Shad. It'd probably be easier. I don't know if you can pull up.
Yeah, I'm going to pull it up.
Pull up GreatLakesFinesse.com, because if you pull up LureNet, we're sold out, and they went to this new system. And when everything's sold out, they didn't realize until like yesterday that you can't see colors when like just all the images just disappear. It goes notify me when, or I don't know, one of your other dealers, like are you with Tack Warehouse or?
I got it right here.
That'll probably be the easiest way to look at the colors, because the colors are incredible. Like I feel like I was actually really shocked that we could get to the level we did. Like I thought we were going to be good, but these are like JDM, as good at paint jobs as you can get in the most premium baits on the market.
Okay. So this, can you see my screen?
I cannot.
Oh, I got to add the stage. My bad.
There we go. Yeah. So that's, Shiner. So you can kind of like flip through the colors there. Yeah.
So that's a Ghost Perch. I want to show one thing. So you can kind of see the back hook deployed there with that.
Yep. Yeah. So it's on a hinge. So that anchor is the exact same anchor as what's holding the belly trailer. Sorry, the belly treble hook. But it's on this pivoting, like it's basically on this polycarbonate, which is really strong. I guess you'd call it like a pin, and it just slides back and forth. So when it pops out, it pops right out. Yeah, so it comes out of that. So it all hides in that little fin, and then when you pull it out, the whole thing is just like anchored and free moving to reduce the leverage they can get.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's Ghost Perch. That's Morning Dawn.
Yeah.
This is the color, that Ghost Shad color.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really popular spybait color.
Yeah, especially like largemouth. Like a lot of guys don't soft with that Ghost Shad color.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
The black. And that's a matte perch, which is more gold, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like a goldish color. Like we really wanted that one to be more visible in like stained water, not so much in that super clear sunny. I'm going to go with the Ghost Perch. If it's like overcast, a little bit windy or dirtier water, then I'm going to go with the matte perch if I'm on a perch pattern.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting. So I guess I throw the perch occasionally. So like I throw a perch spybait occasionally, but like how much are you actually on a perch pattern where you're at? Like I know it's a deal on St. Clair. For you, it's a lot too.
Yeah, let me put it this way. The perch sold out in 5 minutes, and the most requested color by far was perch at the Classic.
That's so cool.
I feel like if we had 1,000 Ghost Perch, we could have sold 1,000 something Ghost Perch spybaits.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's how it is on St. Clair. Like if you're not throwing a perch. But
yeah. So white is actually a color I'd never thrown until we developed this bait. But when we were first playing with the idea of a top hook, I'm going to show this, but we were actually 3D printing these and like gluing them together. And so yeah, we were creating these 3D printed versions, and actually like we were able to like get all the components. They only lasted like a fish or two, but we wanted to see if they would bite it. Well, anyway, I had like a handful of these, and they were smoking this I don't know if you can see it, but this 3D printed version. Anyway, they were eating it, and I'm like, what the heck? Like they're eating this plain white color. So anyway, we went to work and started developing some whites, and like that crackle is kind of available in another brand. We liked it with Top Water. We're like, well, that's kind of cool. We changed it a little bit and add like bit of a purple hue to it. And yeah, they really like that purple white combo. So we're like, yeah, this is it. This is perfect. So it's kind of a unique color in a spy bait. And but man, I didn't realize they ate white until I was throwing the 3D printed versions. They would sometimes come back with just like parts. Sometimes the hooks would just pull right out and stuff. They're not built for catching fish, but we did want to see if we could if the theory would work. Like I remember the first time, the back hook came out poor fish, right? Like we lost the treble hook in the fish's mouth, but the top hook was also missing. And I'm like, okay, well it got both of those hooks, so it works.
That's crazy.
I didn't intend. I thought I would land the fish. So if anyone thinks I was just trying to harm fish, I wasn't. It just the 3D printed thing just started falling apart on me.
Do you sell this hook yet? Are you going to sell this?
Yeah. So the top hook will be available in a 6-pack, and it's a BKK super slide double hook that we got them to custom make for this bait.
That's sweet.
Yeah, so you'll be able to buy that hook in a 6-pack. It's like $6.99. You get 6 of them, which is actually cheaper than a pack of BKKs. So they might get mad when they find out what our price is.
What is this Pro Mist color? Where did this come from?
So that's a color that's similar to other baits we've thrown, and we really like this color when it's really tough. Like when I think you're still on the Ghost scale color there on your screen, but from what I'm seeing.
Oh yeah, I shared the wrong tab.
Yeah, so that color there is kind of like a transparency matte looking minnow color, and it's really great when there's almost no wind. I like it when it's really tough.
Dead calm.
Yeah, that's gonna be the one I throw. So it's got matte eyes and it's got those matte blades. So it's pretty sneaky. It's a really good color. How often do I replace the top hook? You can go as long as you want with that top hook. The only time I found an issue is if you're using pliers and you're aggressive with that top hook, because it is a fairly thin hook, or if you're using a net and it gets caught in there, then it could get bent out. The nice thing about it is, here, I'll show it. It's a double hook, and you can pull it right off. It just kind of slides on there. So worst case scenario, you don't have a replacement hook. Here, I'll pull this right off. You'll see how easy it is if I don't hook myself. But yeah, so I just take it right off like there. Now it doesn't have it. I can jam that into the fin if I want, and I could use it with just 2 hooks, and it'll still run really good with just 2 hooks on the bottom. So say you're crushing fish and you're not in a tournament, or you don't want to use that top hook, you just pull it right off and then put it in your tackle box and save it for when you need it. But yeah, as long as you're easy going with it, it'll last for a long time. Just like any hook, right? Just like any of the treble hooks, you can bend them out if you're not careful when you're yanking them out of those fish's mouths. I do find that a lot of the time, because they get it, they come in and get it like that, you're getting into the roof of their mouth in that really tough spot. So it is tricky sometimes to get it out, but I'd rather that. I'd rather struggle to get the hook out and have that fish in the boat, especially in a tournament. So
for sure,
first world problems in a tournament is a hook that's too well lodged. So yeah.
So you get 3 colors. What are your 3 colors you're going with?
Yeah, so that color there is Shiner. I love that color. We use that one a lot. The other one is matte black. So anyone that's seen our video, so back in the day, we actually used to spray paint. We love black hair jigs, black everything. So we started spray painting our spy baits, and then a few brands started coming out with them. We were kind of mad about it, but this is a really good color. If you notice in the video we filmed, pretty much all my fish catches were on black. There's no greater pressure than being on camera. So put 2 and 2 together. I'm using a bait that I have a lot of confidence in to make sure we get the shots we need for a product video. And then the third one is that Ghost perch. I really throw that one quite a bit, especially where we are. That one's definitely used a lot. And then there's some, I call it honorable mentions that I use a lot. So the Morning Dawn is just a staple. We use that color a lot. Pro Purple, another color we use a lot. And then, Pro Mist is kind of like situational, but, is a really good color. But for the most part, like we keep it pretty simple. Like it's usually black, shiner, or perch. If we're not getting them on those colors, it's like, maybe we're not going to like force the spy bait. You know what I mean? They'll be, let's go back to something else.
Yeah.
But this, I can say that the goal was to make the spy bait something anglers want to start their day with, rather than the backup plan when nothing else is going and they're willing to take the risk on a lost fish.
For sure. That's so cool, man.
Yeah.
When does fishing season open for you guys? When are you guys? I mean, I know you said you're going to Mexico, but
yeah. So I'm going to Mexico next week, and then I'll be back in like by the weekend, and and then it gets normally. I mean, we don't have late winters like this, and we can start getting out there kind of early April, but I think everything's still pretty locked up. So I'm thinking it'll be, late April by the time we can actually get out there and get on those pre-spawners.
I feel that. Yeah, you guys have been getting out early the last couple of years, right? I always see you and Travis and the team all going out and catching them up there, so that's cool.
Yep. Yeah. Little bummed because I feel like I wanted to get out there earlier this year, but last year was the same thing. It was a really late start for us. Like, I remember trying to go out there on like April 8th, and it was just those, like, I was seeing fish and I could literally put our bait on top of their heads and they wouldn't even move. They're just laying on the bottom. So it wasn't the best fishing. It took them a little bit. Like I find when they first get up shallow, when they truly first get up shallow, in the like pre-spawn, they're not quite ready to eat that first wave. They're just kind of like getting acclimated. I think they just come out of the deep water and they're like, okay, I'm laying here beside this boulder or whatever, and like I just need to chill, and then I'll start to move around a bit. So you go too early, you kind of run into that.
Dude, the same thing here, right? Like the best fish to catch early season are fish that are like up in the river, like not actually on the Great Lakes, because those fish on the Great Lakes don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
Like I've started largemouth fishing first thing in the spring. I'm like, I'll screw the smallmouth until later.
Yep.
But no, it's awesome. Are you fishing in Mexico? Or are you just going down?
No, just going down with family and stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'll take a rod and stuff, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Cooper was just texting me, so.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah, so just making sure I get back to him there.
So how is it for you guys? Do you have a bunch more stuff coming out at ICAST this year? Or are you guys kind of just, working through this stuff, or what's your year look like for?
I would say we do have some more stuff coming out at ICAST, but it'll be less than this. I really try now to hit the spring release, because I feel like by the time ICAST comes around, most of the season's already done for a lot of anglers. So, we released the micro series last year at ICAST, and I felt like it didn't get the attention it deserved because of the timing of it. It just, we're into late July and then it's August. And like by then, most people have already, bought the tackle. They've spent all their money. Fishing is winding down. And I feel like if you're into the micro series, well, not as many people are into it yet. So you kind of have that to yourself for a little while until that really catches on. Because I think it will. I think that wave is coming where even further downsizing is going to start to be a big player. But so to answer your question, I would say we will be less exciting at ICAST than we are right now. And like I was telling you right before the stream, like I don't think there's the spy bait is hands down, from everything we've seen, the demand, the sales, how fast it sold out. This is the most exciting product we've ever released.
So it's funny because, like, obviously for smallmouth guys, we're excited about the spy bait, right? But it just kind of opens your eyes to how many guys beyond just smallmouth fishermen are actually throwing a spy bait.
Yeah. Like, I think it was really good that we released this at the Classic in Tennessee, because guys were buying them saying they were going to go fish them the next day. Like they're like, oh, I'm going fishing largemouth, or they whatever lake they're going to, that like they were buying them to fish them now, and not for
crazy.
smallmouth. Yeah. So yeah, really, really cool. Just talking to some of our dealers and stuff, like they were excited to see some innovation in the category. There's really been none. It's just been like there's the original and then a bunch of copycats, and then everyone forgot about it.
So I was thinking about this the other day, is like the innovation category is kind of adjusted, right? Because like I remember the first time I picked up a chatterbait, which was like, I don't know, 2004, 2005, which was already 6 years after it came out. Like Brian Thrift was already making money on it.
Mm-hmm.
But then it didn't really become mainstream until like, I don't know, 2009, 2010 or so, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whopper Plopper kind of had the same thing, came out in 2012, 2013, didn't become really mainstream until like 2016.
Yeah.
Right, so a little bit shorter window. Then you had the spybait craze. I remember being at the Bass Pro where all these guys were weighing in on St. Clair. Like the spybait was literally like they were trying to keep it a secret at that event, and it came out at the weigh-in.
Yeah.
And then it like blew up. But like, dude, the innovation is now like what used to be 10 years of having a bait is now like a month of having a bait.
Yeah.
And then that year of innovation, and then it's kind of fades away, it feels.
Yeah, I'm feeling like that too. Like I feel like especially when you look at like the minnow game, and then it was like the dice, and now it's the urchin. Like, I think I kind of called that, and I'm not saying I called this, so I don't want to sound like I know everything. But when forward facing became the deal and everyone was minnow fishing, I went in my mind, I'm like, okay, we've only scratched the surface. Guys are going to figure out other ways to utilize this technology that's better than minnow. That was kind of the first mainstream technique that really popped. And, there was obviously like hard baits and stuff, like jerk baits and stuff, but like the minnow was really the, like, that's your forward facing sonar technique. And, but you're right. Like, I just feel like you can't even chase a trend right now because it's going to be gone by the time you even start looking at it.
You can't innovate on it for sure.
There's no innovation to be had there. But what I am finding is that, just even at the end of the show, I was talking to Matt. I was like, man, people throw spy baits. Like I thought it was sneaky. I thought they were expensive. I thought not a lot of people are going to understand it. I'm fishing tournaments. I'm winning lots of money using them. Obviously losing a lot of money too, because we're having to use what's available. But I thought we were kind of like, I'm not going to say elitist, but like we're good with a spy bait. Anyway, I can say with confidence, the spy bait is not a secret. It might as well be the Senko. Everyone throws spy baits. But, we went back and took a technique that I think, even talking to our pros, I remember talking to Evan Kung, who's one of our pros. We were actually talking last year at the Classic when he first joined our team. And he was like, oh man, it'd be cool, like a spy bait. He's like, I just hate throwing them because I like hate losing fish. So now I try to use like, something else, like there's like prop heads and stuff, right? So he's like, I try to use that, not the spy bait, because I don't like hooking them on the spy bait. And I was like, well, I'm actually working on one. And he was like pumped. And we would get requests from people wanting a spy bait. So, it made us feel that kind of gave us the motivation to keep pushing through all the engineering challenges of making a spy bait. And people will never truly understand how hard it is to make a spy bait to swim straight and to not roll on its side. And I will tell you that there are a lot of manufactured spy baits that are available for sale that do not run well at all. As soon as you start reeling it at any other speed than maybe the speed of like super slow speed or whatever, it'll roll on its side, or it swims super nose up, or it is way more difficult than I ever thought. So to the guys who invented the first spy bait, they caught some fish, like kudos to them, because we were actually able to take a technique and a style of bait that was already super successful and just improve on it and take our time.
How sensitive is your spy bait?
In terms of how sensitive so the nice thing about ours, and that's something that we really dialed in a couple of years ago when our engineering guy came up and fished with me was he liked to reel it a lot faster, but like some of the earlier versions would roll up on their sides. And that was because we were using these tungsten balls in the bait, and they weren't, what we realized was that if we put the weights, initially we had like little slots in here and the weights would sit, but they would kind of sit like almost mid level in the bait. We realized during that testing and all the underwater footage that we were looking at was that we needed to put as much weight on this belly as possible. So we created like custom molded weights that would fit and lie super low to the belly of the bait. They're kind of in there, but they're wider, and we tried to make them as low as possible to get that action. So I'm telling you, if a spy bait has come to the market and it's rushed, it will not swim properly. You won't get bites. It won't work.
How light are you? Like, what's your setup? Is it like your hair jig setup, 5-pound braid to 6-pound?
That's the exact setup. I like, especially this small size. I love throwing it on that 7/8 medium light. You can use the 7/4 medium light, but the 7/8 is the one I tend to really want to long bomb these with.
Yeah, it's going to be the deal.
Yeah.
And the other big thing is, I don't know about these ones, but like for me, it's always been like that drag's pretty loose. But with this, with that top hook, you may not need to fight them quite as, dude. I literally, so I was shooting a video last year for a specific bait, and I couldn't get bit, so I threw a spy bait, and it was like we had only gotten 3 or 4 bites that day, and I hooked this like 6-pounder on the spy bait, and I have it on just the softest rod I own, and just, of course, it comes in. It literally had 1 treble hook, and I just think to myself, I never, ever, ever like. I never get them on both hooks, or I never get them good on a spy bait.
Yep.
It's funny. Rare. They always get that 1 hook, and you just got to play them to death.
Yeah, and hope. And just hope.
And if they come up, don't come up at all.
Yeah, and if you're fishing with a buddy and it comes off, you can't even be mad. You're like, they could have played it perfectly. And it's just the design. They just come off the little treble hooks. But yeah, you can put a little bit more tension on them with these. I feel like we really nailed the hooks. We tried a bunch of different trebles. These BKK super slides, I never would have fished until I started using them on that flash point jerk bait. That was the first time I'd ever really used them, and man, they held really well for that jerk bait. So we started looking at the small sizes for this bait. We looked at other brands. Like, we love gammy hooks. Like, we didn't go with gammy for this one, but all our other stuff has gammy. But yeah, excellent hooks. Like, I would have full confidence in these hooks in any tournament.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
There was a question: what size mainline size?
So like 5-pound braid to like 8-pound braid is good. I wouldn't go any more than that. I like 6-pound fluoro. I find that the bait just shimmies really nice with 6-pound, and as long as there's no cover around and you have area to fight those fish, there's really no reason why you need to go higher than like 6 or 8-pound fluoro. Yeah.
I want to talk about something. We talked about trends. Do you think the micro trend is like coming? I mean, the BFS trend is sort of here, but BFS is totally separate segment in the market, which is, it's a weird topic, but like BFS is a different trend. Do you think the micro trend is coming?
I think we're way ahead. I think micro, and I was talking to some of like our team about that. I think I have full confidence in micro. Like, I would rather throw the 2-inch Juvie Craw over the 2.5. I'd rather throw like even Cindy rigging. I just have this on my desk, but we throw the size 1 stealth ball head with the 2.25-inch drop minnow now. We're moving towards this more so than larger sizes. And it's gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, like, to remain competitive, I need to really incorporate this micro size. But I think for a lot of people, I mean, the GLF stuff already is small. So like, for them to like mentally get to the point where they're like, okay, GLF stuff is the appropriate size, and then to like come at them with like, you got to go even smaller. They're like, okay, buddy, like, let me just get used to the 2.75-inch dropkick shad before you start coming at me with 1.7-inch, snack cross. So I think like, go ahead.
But like the first, so like Dirds and I fished a tournament, and he'd never seen the 2.75 drop minnow. And I
Hmm.
was throwing the Cindy rig and just smashing them. And he comes up with this hair jig, and he's like, "Dude, that drop minnow is tiny. Like in profile, it's even smaller than a hair jig.
It is. Yeah.
But like it takes that mentality of like, I just got to get some bites. Now I'm ultra confident in that 2.75.
So hair jig, like it's small. It's way smaller, like profile
Yeah,
wise, shape. Like when we go to these like super small things, the other challenge with the micro stuff is it does require a level of angling skill that is probably fairly above average to be able to like truly get those baits out there. Like you do have to have your stuff dialed in. You need the appropriate rods, like our Finesse CX rods. Like you can get away with lesser equipment with our normal stuff, but when you start really getting into the micro stuff, like you need that longer rod. You need the medium light fast to be able to like get it out there. You need 5 pound test, because if you're using 8 or 10 pound test braid, you're not going to get the distance. Like I know people think like, oh, it can't be that much of a difference. It truly
yeah.
makes a massive difference in your casting. And the 5 pound is super strong. I boat flip fish with 5 pound braid. Like it's not a problem. But people like mentally can't get to that point. Um,
But
because
like, dude, even going from 10-pound braid, so like forever, I was like a 10 or 12-pound braid guy on my drop shot. And I'm like, oh, it can't be that big of casting difference to go from 10 or 12 to 8. And
yeah,
I went down to 8. And it was like night and day casting difference. And my buddy Joey DiCenzo was like, sneakily, hey, dude, you have to try this 5. He's
yep,
like, when you're throwing some of this stuff, you have to throw the 5.
yep,
I'm like, it can't be that big a difference going from 8 to 5. And again, it was like night and day difference. So like there's
yep,
minute micro differences. It takes a little more. You have to be a little more sensitive when you're using the 5 from like a casting perspective, and you can't let it like win knot, because eventually it will if you're not careful. Like you got to be a little more careful. But dude, it's so much. It's unbelievable the difference those little details make.
it's not even the casting. Like the casting's one thing, and then it cuts through the water so much better. Your baits are presented better. Like I don't need to go to weighted like sinking braid, because the 5 pound's so thin it cuts water. Like I feel like I have great connection to my baits, and I have the confidence because I've been fishing it for years, that I can stick with Power Pro 5 pound braid. But there's that. There's the distance, the feel. Your bait performs better. Like it's not. People are always like, oh, it's just the fish can't see it as well. That has nothing to do with it. It's just you're getting better performance out of everything with those lighter lines.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So when you're drop shotting, are you also drop shotting in 6? Or are you going on 8? What are you typically doing? The reason I
Uh,
ask is because Jeff
five
was asking
5 pound braid.
for fluoro.
Oh, 6 to 8 depends. Like, um, if I feel like it's close range drop shot fishing, then I'll usually do 8. Like meaning like the fish I'm sight fishing, I'm picking them off around the boat, maybe 30 to 50 feet around me. I might go to like 8. But if I'm like feeling like I'm in deep water or whatever, and I'm not as close to the fish, I just feel like the distance puts a little bit more stretch in the line all around. Like even though braid has no stretch, but like my rod, just there's just more line to pick up and stuff. So I feel like I don't break off
Yeah,
at distance. Like if I'm so for example, if I'm bed fishing, I'm going with 8 because it's like right beside the boat and I'm like
yeah.
right there. So I want that extra strength to absorb my excitement hook set of seeing my bait disappear in its mouth, my drop minnow
Yeah.
disappear. That's my favorite bait
Um,
for a bed.
is that your favorite? I mean, yeah, yeah. Is that your favorite bait overall in your lineup?
The drop minnow will always have a special place for me because it was the bait that we primarily used to break the record. It's the bait that's won more money in tournaments out of all the GLF baits publicly known. Um, meaning like has been in the top 10 on the like MLF, Toyota Series, Elite Series. Like it's had countless top 10s now. It's so versatile. You could drop shot with it. You could put it as a trailer. You could drag it on the bottom. There's just so many things you can do with a drop minnow. So that one, and we always use it. Like it's still part of the game. Even when, we're chasing a trend and then the bite shuts off. It's like you throw a drop minnow and it's all reliable. Like it's going to get the bites you need. So last year at Thousand Island Open, it saved us on 2 of the 3 days, like where we started throwing it, and that was what they wanted over other things. So yeah, we're not going to stop throwing that bait. It's just too good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One of the questions when you throw in the juvie craw or like anything on bottom, so tube or whatever, what braid are you going with? 8 to 10?
Yeah. So anything dragging on the bottom, I generally size up just because of the abrasion from the zebra mussels in our area or rocks or whatever. So it's not uncommon for us to use like 8-pound braid to an 8 or 10-pound fluorocarbon leader. In some cases, we'll even go up to 12-pound fluoro if it's sticky bottom. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the same here, right? Like I have my tube rod or my football jig rod, they have like, I think 10-pound or even 12-pound braid to 10 or 12-pound fluoro.
Yeah.
It's just not as critical for me to have, ultralight line.
Yeah. No, those bottom techniques, I mean, the micro juvie craw, I will sometimes use 5-pound, especially if I'm like dragging around sand or the bottom's not too bad. I just like having that extra feel because it's such a small bait. But yeah, I'd say like 85% of the time, it's like a little bit heavier.
I gotta know something. So, Ned rig versus tube. Okay, so like, what is your determining factor there? Like, when are you picking up a Ned rig, or when are you picking up a tube, or is it
interchangeable?
Throw both until
what you figure out what they want that day. Yeah, I find like I'll be throwing the Ned, Matt will be throwing a tube, or vice versa. The little jig, like a little finesse jig. Sometimes we'll mix that in as well where it's appropriate. So I think it's really key, and I kind of talk about that in like we've got this new finesse boot camp series that we're doing. Like I talk a lot about like making the most of a school in front of you, and we make a variety of profiles that do a lot of the same thing, but just gives you options to like mix in different baits and give them a fresh look to, just extend the bite window. I'm not a big believer in like use one bait and then go somewhere else on the lake and try to find more fish and use the same bait. Like I learned early on in tournament fishing, like never leave fish for fish. Like if you got fish in front of you and you can get them to bite, you're better off staying there, even if the bite is slow, because there's no guarantee that you're going to go find more fish. So I always try to maximize the school in front of me.
So I'm curious on your ice out like pattern. Like the first thing you look for, ice out, smallmouth. We kind of talked about it a little bit, but like when you guys figure out these fish early, is it they're coming up from the deep, they get on that first break where it's sand, and then they push into like staging areas, or what are you guys typically looking for?
We're looking for where they typically spawn. So we just know that from when we fish the spawn. Like it's easy. Like if you want to learn where fish go in the pre-spawn, just go out there during the spawn, and then that's where they're going to start heading. They're just staging. They're going to get in and around those flats or those boulders that they're going to spawn on, and they're just going to feed up before the spawn. And then they're just going to like one day, they're just going to like pick a spot. Once the conditions get right, they're going to be like, that's my boulder, or that's my little like stick that I'm going to like post up against, a little log. And so that's generally what we know they're heading there. So we just backtrack from there, right? We go, okay, like they're going to be out in the deep water. So we know where they're headed. We know where they hang out in the winter. So we just like look for those transition spots in between. But generally how I start is like, unless I've been out there consistently, it'll be like, go to where they're going to spawn. And then if they're not there, I'll start going to the secondary further towards the deep water and start until I figure out what kind of area the bulk of the fish are in. There's always kind of fish in all three areas. Like deep, transition, and where they want to be when the conditions get right. But there's always like a larger percentage in one of those zones at any given time. So generally for us in the pre-spawn, it's like drop kick shad on a ball head. So like something like this, and the sneaky underspin, which is basically this setup. I have all these bait sims. I just did a sales training with our Canadian sales reps. So that's it. So you're in the pre-spawn, you don't know where they're going to be. You want to cover as much water as quickly as possible, but knowing that, especially early when the water is really cold in that like 40, low 40s to like kind of 47, 48, they won't eat a big aggressive bait. So you kind of got to do like, we call this power finesse, where it's like, it's still a tiny little bait, but we can fan cast it like a hair jig. They don't really eat the hair jig that good in the pre-spawn. I don't know why, but they won't eat it very good until the conditions get right. It seems like the hair jig is more of like a post-spawn fry garter situation, and then early summer kind of until like they kind of start going deep. The hair jig, that's when it's a player for us. So we focus more on the minnow baits, the drop kick shad. Like this is gonna be a player for us. This bigger one, we'll just cast it out, reel it back. Same thing with the sneaky underspin. Just fan cast, cover water, trolling motors on a good speed. Then when we get a bite, it's like, okay, if there's one here, there's likely a lot. So we slow right down, fan cast, really pick that zone apart, and then generally we find the school, and that's when we slow down, and it's like juvie craw, jig, and snack craw, those three. They want those little craws on the bottom. I've seen it in the early, like when we first started getting into this pre-spawn thing, we started fishing like around bridges and stuff. And sometimes we'd scout by just going and fishing the bridges, like not even taking the boat. We just drive and fish these like bridges where there's like warm water outflows and stuff. And like one day I saw these like craws early, and it's almost like they just emerge, and they look so clumsy and so vulnerable. And I'm like, they want craws. Like they will eat these craws. And then, yeah, that's why we throw craws, and they crush craw imitations. Little vulnerable looking craws that look like they're out of it. And I think that's why this little guy, this little snack craw, gets them so good.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's one of like early ice out. One of my biggest learnings was like I would always try to go out to the deep water, like where they're wintering, and I found very quickly that you're going to have fish ultra shallow, so like where they're spawning, or even like just up on the bank, and then you're going to have fish in the transition zone, so like zones, I guess. But like it's so interesting to hear you say work your way outward, because so many times I would start out deep and like beat my head against the wall, not figuring it out. And then one day, actually, one of the guys that I look up to a lot was like, no, just start shallow and work your way out. And then you can get a feel for like, okay, do I need to kind of stay in the shallow zone, or should I need to keep working my way deeper? Because dude, a lot of people think it's actually easier to find fish in that deeper water, the deeper zones, and it's just not.
It's not. It's so hard. They don't bite well. They're the most.
They move so fast.
Yeah. Yeah, they're hard. Yeah, those shallow fish, you get on them, unless they have just pulled up. Like it's almost like there's a day or two where they need to like acclimate to the shallows. But once they're through that acclimation period, they're so fired up. Like they just want to eat. Yeah.
Exactly. No, that's awesome.
I'm excited just talking about it. We're so close. Literally a month from now, we will be on them. I know. So
I know. My buddy Mike messaged over in the chat. He's trying to get out this weekend. My buddy Nathan went out last weekend, and I'm like, man, I don't know if there's enough open water to justify me like trying to push it on Saturday or not. So
yeah,
we'll see. But
yeah, buddy, I have that. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. What were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say every year, after we try to start early, we're like, we're not doing that again next year, and then we do it again. We just it's a long winter, right? So sorry. Go ahead.
No, I didn't have like that urgency this year. It wasn't like, man, I need to get out. Like I need to really push it and try to get out the second there's open water. And now like I'm starting to get the itch. Like I'm getting the boat ready, and I'm like starting to play around with stuff. So
yeah,
we'll see. But no, man, I really appreciate you hopping on and talking through some of this stuff. Um, I'm stoked, man. This year's going to be great. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you got some good new rods to play with this year too.
I know, I know. I got some videos coming out here pretty soon, and people will hear about all that. But no, for anyone that's gonna hasn't heard or hasn't seen a couple of the posts I made on Instagram, I am going to be running some of the Great Lakes Finesse CX spinning rods. So 7.8, 7.4, and then the 7.8 medium heavy. So super, super, super stoked. It's just I talked to you about this when I called and was like, hey, I'd like to get on with you guys for rods this year. I just wanted like that next level, like specialty gear. Like I see the micro trend sort of coming. Like I see
Yeah.
that being the thing that's not quite happened. So just having like ultra next level specialty gear, um, I'm super stoked, man.
Yeah. I actually haven't talked to you about since you got your hands on them. Like, what's your initial impression?
Dude, crazy. Very, very different than what I expected. Like, first of all, you get it out of their package, right? You get the rod tube. And I didn't know they came with those neoprene socks, which is really cool, right?
Yeah.
Keeps everything super pristine. But then those guides are sweet.
Yeah.
Like they're different, but they're very cool and they're extremely light.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm
No.
excited to actually fish them, right? Like I've just basically held them and flexed them
Yeah.
on the ground just a little bit, but
Yeah. I remember the first time I had kind of like that almost finished version, my mind was blown. I'm like, I can't believe we pulled this off. Like,
they're
just they're
incredible.
so light. They're so like they just feel like not like you would expect is all I can describe. Like they're just so different.
The
Yeah.
other thing is like the blank feels so different. So like you expect a normal blank is kind of slick, right?
Hmm.
And you touch the blank and it's just like that raw carbon. I don't know what you call it,
Yep.
but it's basically like the raw carbon blank,
Yep.
and it's like tacky. I don't know. It's a weird feeling, but it's like
Yeah. It's rigid. It's
yeah,
like,
it's
yeah. Yeah. It was built that way. Like you don't want to sand it down. A lot of blanks get sanded down and stuff, but like you lose integrity and sensitivity when you start glossing them over and like coating them and stuff. So that was all part of the like we wanted maximum sensitivity, but also like durable because they're light rods, and they're super high modulus. Like they're not an ugly stick. Like these things, like you do need to be careful with them. They're like a specialized tool. So like we're extra careful with them. Like you can't treat them like
yeah.
an ugly stick or throw them around your boat or anything. Like they are. I mean, we don't break them, but we're careful with them because they're beautiful. Like they're incredible rods. So yeah, I'm excited for you to like actually get on the water and tell me what you think. Like the
I
first time you
know.
feel it, like when your hand's wet, like when you let a fish go and you go to pick up the rod and you're gonna be like, my hand's not slipping. Why is that? Like that's wild. Like it'll mess with your brain because you feel it and you're like that. I feel like that's gonna get wet and slippery, but it doesn't. Like it's incredible technology. So it'll be fun for your feedback.
Also, I've also never so like I've never seen the rods in person, so like I didn't even know what to expect.
Hmm.
But then like I didn't know what that the grip felt like, which it is ultra smooth. It's like I don't even know how to explain it to someone, but
Yeah, how would you
it's like
describe that? It's like holding I don't know, like like your laptop, like if you have a
yeah,
new
it's like
laptop,
that
like
kind
that
of
that like feeling of a silvery, I don't know, I'm
yeah,
trying
it's
to
like
figure out
that
what it
type of plastic. I don't know how to
yeah.
explain it, but it's super smooth.
Yeah, and
But
if you like hit it, it's like clunk clunk clunk. Like it's a total I mean it's the blank, right? It's the same material.
I'm I'm interested. I saw you comment on, I think it was Omnia, or it was someone's post that like posted about the sensitivity of a rod
I
blank or something.
yeah.
And I wanted I wanted so bad to just I don't know, see how it stacks up because
I did too. I was
I'm very
genuine about it.
excited.
I like because they were like, "Is this the most sensitive rod?" I know they never brought our rods in, and I'm like, I don't know, man. Like the first time I went fishing with our rods with that handle, I was missing so many fish because I was setting the hook way too early because I could feel them practically breathe on it. Like the best way I describe the sensitivity is like with a hair jig. Like anyone who hair jig fishes, they're reeling it in, your rod gets mushy, and you're like, I got a fish.
Yeah.
For a lot of time, you don't feel the hit unless they're really aggressive. Like, but a lot of time your rod just loads up. You feel a distinct tick. And I think what happens is like you've been used to just letting your rod load up because you didn't feel the tick earlier. So when you feel the tick, you're setting the hook, but you never gave that fish a chance to actually get the bait. So Matt and I were out there just swinging and missing the first time we had these rods. We were like, what is wrong with us? Like they're smashing it. Like we're like, how are we missing this fish? We thought they were eating it better than normal, but it was just the sensitivity. And now that's just what we feel. Like we feel that every day. It feels like they're smashing it with a regular rod. Like when they're like, man, they're on today, they're smashing it. That's just how they feel now for us when they bite. And the feedback we get, like we're able to like, so for example, the juvie craw with that medium heavy, I can feel so much of the bottom, and people who drag a lot of tubes will understand what I'm saying. But like if you yank on it too much when you know it's about to get snagged and you don't like hop it off, it'll snag, right? Like you kind of just like work it. It works into the rock. You reduce that so much because you can feel it happening sooner. So like you're reducing your snags, you're getting that feedback, you know for sure when it's a bite or when it's not. Like it changes everything having that level of sensitivity, and a level of sensitivity that I didn't understand when I thought I was fishing the best rods with EVA and cork handles. Until you truly go to a carbon handle, you think that you're feeling, and it's the blank, and I got to put my finger on it, and I'm feeling things. You're not feeling 100% feedback until you got a carbon handle. It's crazy.
And so I didn't understand some of the hype. So Joe LaBarbera came up and fished with me 2 summers ago, and he was like all about his Poison Adrenas or whatever Jackal or Shimano rod he had it.
Yep.
And like that's what he was all about, was like, man, these are just so sensitive. Like I have the right feedback and it's the right action, and it's XYZ. And I fished it and I'm like, it is pretty sensitive. And then we got to talking. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to fish the GLF rods because I saw he was making some videos about the rods. It's like, dude, those rods are insane. Like the sensitivity and the action. And he started like walking me through some of the things that he was using them for. And I'm really excited because if it comes from like him talking from those Shimano rods.
Yeah, he's pretty much switched. Like, he's pretty much switched.
Over, so
yeah, like I talked to him too, and he said to me, he's like, you're getting that level of performance at not even half the price.
Yeah, those are $800 rods.
Yeah, he's like, no one should buy. I mean, I don't want to talk bad about other companies but like you're getting the same performance out of a rod that's cheaper than half the price. So, and that was what we're
interested in are those carbon guides, right? Are they carbon footed guides?
Yeah, it's like so they're the microwave air guides, and they're like some sort of, it's a metal. I don't quite know. It's on the label. I don't know if you saw the labels, but it comes with a little tag.
Yeah, it comes with
yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm excited.
They're not carbon. They're like a metal. I don't want to say for sure what metal it is. I just honestly, sometimes I don't get into the weeds of the.
You're like the very sensitive.
I've been using those guides. I've been using those guides for 10 years on my custom rods, and now we use them on our rods, and I just know they work. And for me, the guides aren't so much about the sensitivity; they're more about the distance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you could only use one of the CX rods, which one would it be? Which one do you find? So I kind of asked you this. So the way that I'm doing it is I have one of the 7.4s, a couple of the 7.8 medium lights, and then a couple of the 7.8 medium heavies is what I went with for this year.
Yeah.
Because like I really wanted to focus on, for me, the hair jig, the underspin, like with the long 7.8 medium light plus, like that was how I was going to use that. 7.4 is more like a drop shot Ned rig style rod for me, and the 7.8 is more like my tube football jig sort of rod.
Yeah.
But like for you, like if you could only have one.
I built 3. I mean, most people have way more actions than that. Those are the 3 that I use the most, and they're very specific. So for hair jigs and spy baits now, with ours especially, heavier ones, I might go with the 7.4, just because I find that one has slightly, it's a little bit beefier on the back end, on the bottom end, sorry. So yeah, sneaky underspins, all that stuff. Most of the time, we're using the 7.8 medium light. And then for pretty much all of my dragging applications, it's a 7.8 medium heavy. So those aren't really interchangeable because I don't think you can effectively drag a tube with a 7.8 medium light. If you were looking for like okay, well, let me backtrack. For drop shotting, I use a 7.4 medium light. This is my favorite drop shot rod. I get great feel. It's parabolic enough because of the length. I get good power. I'm able to control fish. I'm able to walk fish around the boat if I need to with the poles, like the power poles. Like a lot of people love a short rod for drop shotting. I like the length. So I have, if I have to go around the front of the boat, I have to put a rod in, like move around the trolling motor, switch, when the fish swim around the boat and you got to walk those fish around. Like I couldn't imagine doing that with like a 6.6 or something. Like a lot of people are like, I drop shot with a little rod. And I'm like, I don't know how. Like you must be in your trolling motor, in your power poles, and in your prop all the time. So that's kind of my drop. Go ahead.
Now where you're casting for those fish, right? Like
Yeah,
forward facing maybe changed that a little bit. A lot of guys like to drop straight next to their boat. Still couldn't do it.
yeah.
But continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but even then, like I don't. Maybe
I've never wanted less than a 7 foot to like a 7'2" rod was like the minimum that I would want to drop shot with.
A 7.2 is like the smallest rod I would consider using. Like that is like I'm not going shorter than that at this point. But so yeah, those are the 3. The 7.4 medium light is probably your all around could fish almost all the baits that we make, except for like a heavy juvie craw. So like 1/4 ounce and down, you could fish with a 7.4. You can spy bait, you can hair jig, you can drop shot. So that's if you're like, we call it if you could only have one, get that one. To answer his question, he says if you could only use one, that's your like, I call it the compromise. It's not perfect for anything, but it's great for everything, if that makes sense. So like for me, I find I pretty much, except for drop shotting and maybe the odd Ned application stuff, most of my time is spent with the 7.8 medium light or the 7.8 medium heavy. That's where like the bulk of my use is those 2 extremes. The 7.4 is like, yeah, like it's great. Like I love the rod, but it's just not what I always use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did put a link to all the Great Lakes Finesse stuff down in the description. So if anyone wants to go check that out, there's a code down there as well for you guys to go use. So I don't know if it works with the rods or not, but
it does.
I know
that'll save you a lot of money. What is it, 15% off?
Save you a lot. Yeah, it's 15% off. So
yeah, that'll save you. What is that on?
It's 40, $50.
More than that. Is it? $60. It'll save you $60 off a rod with your code. That's great.
Yeah.
So yeah, cool.
It's all linked down in the description. So if you guys want to go check that out. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I see the rods playing for me, man. Like I do have a question. Which one would you throw like a 1/4 ounce swim bait or like a 8 3/16 1/4 ounce, 2.75 or 3.3?
Probably still the 7.8 medium light. It's still got enough, but that would be the max. Like I wouldn't go heavier than like 1/4 ounce. Yeah, I would say maybe a little heavier, like 5/16. You get away with 5/16. I've never had an issue. Like the nice thing about how I would describe the action is it's probably closer to medium light as opposed to like a traditional medium light. But what people need to understand is that you're still getting the parabolic action of like a traditional like 7 foot or 7.2 medium light, but you'll feel like you have more power with our rod just because of the length, and we put more power in on the bottom end. that was very intentional. A lot of people are like, oh, I want a noodle rod, like something that bends right over. Well, the problem with that is that if you hook a fish at the start of your cast, like you've bombed it out there 100, it's not unreasonable for you to hit 140 feet. If you got a noodle of a rod, yeah, that's great when the fish is fighting around the boat and you want to absorb the shock, but good luck getting a hook in it at 140 feet with a noodle rod. So we specifically built those to have that power on the bottom end, but still be parabolic for a big chunk of that to be able to still absorb the chalk. So it's kind of like it was what we wanted
Yeah.
for this style of fishing. So yeah, I don't really like to compare it to other rod manufacturers, but I have heard people be like, oh, it's a little stiffer than like a Flissa or like a, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but this is also a longer rod. You still have the action of the Flissa, but because you have more length on the bottom end, you have the power if you need it to turn the fish or to drive that hook home.
Well, like, quite frankly, so I had the opportunity to design what I consider a pretty great hair jig rod with TFO. And the amount of comments that we got and the amount of people that didn't buy it was because it was too firm.
Yeah.
But the problem that you have is because these guys want literally like, dude,
they want it to fold over.
They want it. There's a really popular hair jig rod on the market. And the problem is these guys have felt that rod, or they felt what they think they want in these rods. And then you go to cast your hair jig and that rod just goes, and it's just like, there's so much bounce that the hair jig doesn't go where you want it to go, or it doesn't cast as far as
it doesn't cast. Yeah.
Or you go to set the hook into a fish because you're fishing something maybe like a spy bait on that hair jig rod, and the hooks are just a tiny bit too firm where you never get a hook into that fish.
Yep.
But exactly. Like that was the biggest complaint, was just how soft.
It's kind of like
was how firm the rod was. It wasn't as soft as these guys wanted it. And it's just like, I don't know, as a Great Lakes angler where you're trying to buy distance, you also then have to buy the ability to actually hook that fish, because the amount of bites, especially on a hair jig, or excuse me, a spy bait, that you can cast that thing a long ways away from the boat. You got to be able to hook that fish way out there.
Exactly. And that's when you're going to get the biggest fish to bite. That's when you get the big ones, is like in that first 10 feet of your retrieve. Like that's when you get the monsters.
Well, that fish, the giant that I caught last fall, bit it before I even turned the reel handle. Like, yes, you can see me in the footage, like trying to find it, but I didn't realize he already had it on the fall. So I had to like catch him and get a hook into him. But like, I hit him pretty hard because he bit it at the very end of my cast, like before that bait even I engaged the reel. All those big fish, let me rephrase, a lot of my biggest fish come at the very end of my cast or following that bait forever and a day away. And like the spy bait, it always catches big ones and they never get the hook good, right?
Yeah.
So you need to be able to play those fish, but you still have to be able to get a hook into them.
Yeah. Hook penetration is probably the most overlooked thing by anglers. They don't truly understand hook diameter. Like even when we've got a thin hook in the sneaky underspin, they think, oh, I should be beefier because I'm bending it out. I'm like, do you bend out your drop shot hook? Like you don't need to hammer them. Like the intention there is a light wire hook gets really good penetration. Same with the hair jig rod. Like the hair jig, we went with the 604. A 604 hook is kind of thick. Like you need power to get it in there. Otherwise, you might land that fish and you're like, wow, it didn't even go past the barb. It was just kind of like stuck in the skin in their mouth. And you're like, it does take some power to drive these hooks home with light line at distance. And if you had a whippy rod, you're just going to be like at the mercy of those fish. They're going to jump 3 times. You won't be able to turn their heads. They're just going to destroy you.
You're just rubber banding that fish to the boat, like basically keeping that thing on by the rubber band that is your rod.
Yeah. Yeah. No, people don't understand. Like, it's one of those things where like you could probably sell way more rods by having this like crazy whippy rod, but you just know that you're selling them like what they want. But it's like you don't.
But do you think that, right? Like, here's my thing. It's like you can make a really cheap whippy rod because you got a bunch of glass in that thing, But like the amount of fish that guy's going to lose because the rod's too soft for the baits that you built that have a very specific action, those people aren't going to come back and buy more stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Like you got to build the right stuff to catch the right fish. And if I don't know, especially with the system of gear, and I think that's what you guys have sort of built. It's
Yeah.
like with the system of gear that you're using, you have to build everything around each other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. You nailed it. And like word of mouth's the best thing. Once people start catching them and they realize, okay, like there is something to this, like they'll be happy. Um, but yeah, no, it's cool. I'm excited to get your feedback on the rods and
Me too,
see.
man.
Yeah, I think you'll love them.
So you guys, you said you're coming out with the urchin bait here at the class or at the
Yeah,
ICAST,
that's
and
exactly
the
what.
next hottest trend by that point in time. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, we've certainly been looking at the category. It's evolving extremely quickly, and
very fast.
we've been messing around. Like I've tried all of them. Like you, like I've pretty much anything that most of the people have tried. I've certainly thrown, and they're effective. Like I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Like especially when you start to get away from the stranded stuff, like it seems like that came fast, but then like the fish got really conditioned to those strands pretty quick. We were almost seeing it in real time throughout the season. Like it was hot, and then it just like really started to fade in the same areas around the same fish, and it they worked. Like it seemed like they really worked early, like even last year, the year before when we first started kind of playing with them. I mean, they've been around for like I remember seeing what
Tight
was it?
lines UV used to make it.
Well, yeah, no one paid attention. Those poor guys. They've had this thing forever, and then like they just totally, you know, just totally got bypassed by other stuff. But I remember seeing these like dice, the OSP dice, on like one of the hookup tackle. They did a video like 3 years ago, and they're catching fish on them. I'm like, oh, it's cool. Oh, $20. Yeah, it can't be that good. So I kind of like
Yeah.
didn't pay much attention, and then someone wins a tournament, you're like, oh, maybe I should pay attention. And then you're like, oh, shoot, I missed the boat. I should have jumped on that right away. And they're good. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, if you use them, they work. And so, yeah, we're looking at the category, but we're not just going to make something to be part of it. It's got to be better in some way, shape, or form if we're going to jump in. And
I will say, I
go ahead.
fished a koiki and a uni this over the winter. I went down to Tennessee and I bought a couple of each. And there is a uniqueness to the koiki that you don't get out of like the Yamamoto uni or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way the bait, it like has a shimmy on the fall because of how rigid those tentacles are. Like, and I haven't tried other ones, so I don't know about like the Hags or all the other brands that are out there. But like the koiki versus Yamamoto, Yamamoto doesn't have the same shimmy, but it has a lot more like flare and pulse versus
Yeah.
that koiki, which has like a shimmy on the fall. So there
Yeah.
is
They got those
uniqueness.
little nubs on the end, which kind of give it the just a different shape. But yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, but like there's a lot of differences. Like there's a hide up what's it called? The shrimp
Mm-hmm.
that actually looks pretty neat, and like there's that category is evolving. I don't think it's evolving so fast. Just a lot of Japanese brands are coming here, and now all the North American guys are like making their version of a urchin. But
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
the Urshan
it's
is
gonna be
definitely
interesting.
in the spotlight right now. Yeah, it just seems like something hits like that, and that'll be the hot thing. And Depps is probably like, oh, like what do we do with these Sakamata shads that we made? But anyway, like it's crazy to watch this industry right now. The trends just come and go so fast. It's wild.
But yeah, and I'll let you go here in a minute. But I do think there is something with general concept of micro and downsizing baits. So like when you start to look at the trends right now, right? You obviously have the urchin, and I'll put fuzzy dace in the same category, similar but totally different baits, right? But then you have extremes. A lot of these guys are throwing giant minnows, and it works for smallmouth too,
Mm-hmm.
7-inch minnows, or they're throwing Great Lakes Finesse 2-inch minnows,
Yep.
right? So like having a category of bait I think you can make last a long time. So
Yeah.
by understanding, I guess, how to use those extreme tiny, and I'm saying tiny with the regular size, can't
Yep.
imagine the effectiveness or lasting power of a mini micro bait.
Yep. No, I agree. Last year, on St. Clair, I guess the bite was pretty tough for those elite guys. And a lot of guys were using those dice baits and stuff. But Evan Kung on our team, he couldn't get the regular drop minnow to go. And we had just released the micro, and he actually was using the micro in the tournament. That was the minnow he could get them to bite, was that one.
That's
but they wouldn't
crazy.
touch the 275, but they'll touch the 225. It was just so much smaller. So, but yeah, he just downsized the drop shot hook and just started sight fishing fish with it, and they were eating it. They come over and suck that little thing in.
What hook are you using for a drop shot on the micro? Are you still using the size 2?
No. You go to like a 4. Yeah, it's small.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
It's small. Yeah, it's small. It's good.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. I know you've been having some long days, so I appreciate you hopping on here. I always enjoy picking your brain on the smallmouth stuff. And I know all
Yeah.
the people watching do as well. So, but thank you so much. Yeah, man. I'll let you go, but thanks to everyone that hopped in the live tonight and enjoyed watching. But no, really appreciate it. We'll catch you guys next time.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Ben.